This is an introduction to Plotinus. I am Eric Steinhardt, and let's begin. So we start with the one. What is the one? Reality begins with what Plotinus calls unity, or the one. The one is simple, doesn't have any parts. The one is pure goodness. The one is pure power. And the one is the source of all things. The one is not a physical thing, it's the source and origin of all physical things and even of all non-physical things, if there are any. Now the one is not God. God exists, is all-powerful, is all-good, is all-knowing, is intelligent, is a person, and is caring. God cares. But the one is above and beyond existence. Now, like God, the one is all-powerful, and it is all good, but it's not all-knowing. And the one is not intelligent. The one is not a mind. And the one is not a person. It is not personal. It is completely impersonal. And so the one is careless. It does not care. The one's not God, but the one will become God as Neoplatonism becomes Christian theology. Think about the Holy Trinity. Well, the one becomes the Father, the divine mind becomes the Son, and the world soul becomes the Holy Spirit. Now that's a little too simple, but we can get into that later. So the one isn't God, so the one doesn't create things. Creation is a voluntary action. Rather, the one emanates like the sun emanates light. Emanation is necessary, and it just happens by the natural productive power of the one. The first thing that the one emanates is the divine mind. And then the divine mind emanates the world soul. And the world soul emanates the universe. And finally, beyond the edge of the universe is matter. Now, not physically, rather, matter is just the limit of the productive power of the one. But you don't see it this way. You see everything inside out and upside down. You see matter at the center of the universe, and then surrounded by the rest of the universe, and then the world soul up above the universe, the divine mind up above the world soul, and finally the one up above everything. And this is going to become the medieval picture of reality, the standard picture of reality in Christian and all later theology, right, and cosmology up until the modern times. Here's what it looks like. It's geocentric. The Earth is in the center. That's the purest matter of all. It's surrounded by water, the oceans. Then you've got the atmosphere. Then above the Earth is the moon. The moon orbits the Earth. Back in those days, right, geocentrism, they thought the sun orbited the Earth, and then the planets also go around the Earth. They're farther out, right? And everything above the moon is a kind of fire. The moon is glowing. The sun is hot and glowing. Planets also glow. And then the stars, right? And up above the stars, finally, you get to the divine. You would have, in Plotinus's terms, you would have the divine mind and the one. In Christian terms, you'll get God. Here it's interesting to note that everything below the moon is in time, it's temporal, whereas everything above the moon is eternal, right? Superlunary means above the moon, sublunary means below the moon. This leads us to the great chain of being, right? That diagram had a vertical axis, which was a chain. At the top, we have the one, then below it, the divine mind, below that, the world soul, and then below that, the universe, which has several levels of its own. We've got the stars and gods at the top, then we've got humans, then we've got animals, then we've got fish, insects, plants, and finally just rocks. And that's an ordering of functional powers. Okay? An ordering also of complexity in some ways, although that gets a little strange, and we'll talk about that later too. Now the great chain of being really can be divided into three parts. Superbeing, which is infinite, and that's just the one. Then being, which is finite, and includes all the existing things, right? The one is above and beyond existence. Existence spans from the divine mind all the way down to plants or rocks, right? Being. Then below being, that's like zero, that's matter. Matter doesn't really exist. It's the limit of existence, the bottom. So here you do have this vertical axis, which should be familiar. So at the top you've got the one, at the bottom you've got matter, right? The one is true, beautiful, good, real, and orderly. Matter is false, ugly, evil, illusory, and chaotic. And you have a choice as to whether to move up and down on this axis, from matter to the one or from the one towards matter. Now here we go, finally get this slide in. That comes back in the Christian cosmos, in which you've got heaven at the top, up where the one is, up where God is. You, of course, are in the middle, and hell is down in the bottom, right there, hell in the center of the earth, right, the circle being the earth, and you have the choice of going up to heaven or down to hell, right? You could travel in either direction on this vertical axis. And that's the end. Thank you.